Yesterday, there was another mass shooting at a school in the US, this time in Parkland, Florida, which left 17 people dead. So this is something that I don't really have to deal with in Canada. The rare time there's a mass shooting here, it's a one-off occurrence. And in fact, while Canada has only experienced 7 deadly school shootings total, this is America's 8th so far this year, in 2018. And if you include all school shootings, meaning ones that didn't result in death, then it's actually the 18th school shooting this year. Now, no matter what you do legislatively, you're never going to completely rid the existence of mass shootings. There's always going to be the potential of a mass shooting happening, but you can absolutely cut down on how frequently they happen. Now, apart from the obvious lack of gun control legislation in the US, last year Trump signed a bill revoking Obama-era gun checks for people with mental illnesses. So when nothing is done to prevent tragedies like this, either in healthcare or gun control, then they're going to keep happening, and at this frequency. Especially under somebody like Donald Trump, who has pulled back what little gun control legislation exists. So what I want to do in this video is highlight some people, reactions from some people who actually lived this experience. So first up is David Hogg, a student, a senior at the high school where the shooting happened. And here he is speaking with CNN.
So my AP Environmental Science class is about 200 to 100-ish feet away from the freshman building where this atrocity occurred. And our door was actually opened ajar, and we heard the first gunshot. And my friends in the front of the room looked around, and we were like, "We think we heard a gunshot, Miss Aurelia, our teacher." And she promptly closed the door. But immediately after she closed the door, what this sick person did is he pulled the fire alarm. He pulled the fire alarm to get all of the people out of the rooms, and we were part of that. We started walking out without even thinking about it twice. And as a result, when we were walking out to our designated fire zone, there was a flood of people running in the opposite direction, telling us to go the other way. So I start running with the herd, and as we're running with the herd, we actually were running towards the freshman building, and thank God for a janitor that stopped us.
What did the janitor say?
The janitor said, "Guys, you can't go this way, go this way." And they funneled us all in Chef Kurth's culinary cooking classroom, about like 40, I'd say, if not more. And because of those heroic actions and the actions that she took, just a split-second decision in 30 seconds, she saved my life, and she saved easily 40 others there.
Because you were running towards the gunman unknowingly.
Exactly.
And then the janitor turned you around and you were able to go and hide.
Yes. In a matter of 30 seconds, we were in there, locked down and away. Due to her heroic actions, I'm pretty sure that's why I'm alive today.
And meanwhile, your sister is a freshman.
Yep.
So your sister was in the freshman wing along with Kelsey. What was happening?
Well, I was extremely concerned for my sister, but we actually thought this was a drill at first, and an extremely realistic one at that. And I, in part, thought that because of the extremely well-executed response of the janitor and everybody else. But while we were in there, we soon found out this was anything but a drill. This was life or death.
And how did you find that out? From
our phones. We were looking it up. Sadly, my sister, she's a freshman, and she had 2 of her best friends die. And that's not acceptable. That is something that we should not let happen in this country, especially when we're going to school. It's something that we really need to take a look at. The fact that this is the 18th school shooting, and this is only February, is a testament to where this country has come and how far we need to dig out of this hole. We need to step out of it and take a look back and realize there's something seriously wrong here. And some of our policymakers and some people need to look in the mirror and take some action, because ideas are great, but without action, ideas stay ideas and children die.
So that student's recounting of what happened is unbelievable. So the shooter was actively aware that these classrooms were going into lockdown, and they were shutting the door and locking them. So then he pulls the fire drill to get the kids to leave the classrooms, to give him a better shot at shooting and killing innocent students. Now, as I'm covering this, it's coming out that this accused Parkland shooter was a member of a white supremacist group, and in fact participated in paramilitary drills. So the shooter was essentially a trained shooter. There's not much you can do to prevent against this, except for proper gun control legislation and proper mental health. But look, again, I have the perspective of a Canadian. The only real difference between us and the US, I mean, culturally, we're very similar. We both enjoy the same kinds of action movies. We both play the same kinds of video games. We both engage in the same sort of media. But the main difference is we have proper health care, though we don't have universal mental health care, but we have universal health care, and we have proper gun control. And Canada's only had 7 school shootings ever that resulted in death. This is the 8th that has resulted in death this year in the US, and 18 if you count ones that didn't result in death. So, to me, the solution is obvious. Proper gun control. And absolutely mental health as well, or healthcare in general. But, I mean, you at least start with the guns. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't understand how this can keep happening and nothing gets done. I mean, I do understand it in the sense of where the strings are being pulled by the NRA and other special interests that are holding back Congress in order to, or their ability to act on this. But the vast majority of people in the US support common gun control legislation. So if nothing is getting done, then how is the US a democracy? It's not. These politicians don't actually represent the voice of the people. The people want gun control. Congress doesn't act. How is that democracy? Let's go to the next clip here, and this is Melissa Falkowski, I think. She's a high school teacher, and she hid 19 kids in a closet during the shooting.
We talked to every single class period that sat in front of us, you know, about what to do in this situation, in a bomb threat, in a fire drill. Like, we went over every safety, and every single teacher did that with every single, you know, class that they had until the kids were tired of hearing about it. But they knew what to do, and we knew what to do. And even still, even with that, we still have 17, you know, casualties, 17 people that aren't going to return to their families. And to me, that's totally unacceptable. And from my personal viewpoint, it's time for Congress, government, somebody to do something, and it's time to talk about what the problem is and try to fix it.
So whenever one of these mass shootings happen, there are people, usually on the conservative side of the perspective, talking about how we shouldn't talk politics right now. It's a mass shooting. It's time for mourning. Let's not talk about how to fix the problem. Well, here's a teacher that lived this experience. And on the same night, she's calling on Congress to do something. So, who are you going to listen to? Conservative commentators that say, let's not get political? Or somebody that actually lived this terrible tragedy and is calling on actual changes to happen at the federal level? So, what we usually get from Congress is thoughts and prayers. Shooting happens, people die, oh, thoughts and prayers, that'll make everything better. Well, I saw this tweet and I thought it summed this up perfectly. So this is from Molly Hodgson that said, thoughts and prayers, the air guitar of helping. And I couldn't say it any better myself. If you are a Christian, you believe in God, then you have to recognize God gave you arms, legs, and a brain. That's so you could actually use them. Do something with them. God isn't coming to save you. He gave you the ability to save yourself. Yet you somehow rely on him, thoughts and prayers. What does that even mean? Are the clouds going to open up? Are these dead people now going to come back to life? Like, something has to actually get done. Now, I want to address something else that this teacher said here, and that's how they endlessly practiced how to react to this situation, how to react to a bomb, how to react to a shooting. So they practiced what to do in this situation, and even still, 17 people were shot dead. There's only so much you can do until you have to get things done at the federal level to actually enact proper gun legislation that will affect everyone and be able to prevent situations like this, tragedies like this. Now, again, you can't prevent every single shooting, obviously, but you can absolutely cut down on the amount of times this happens. Like I said, look at other countries. Look at Canada. We're right next door. Our culture is very similar. The difference is we have gun control. You don't. Now let's get to the last video here, and this is from the superintendent.
I will tell you that students have been reaching out to me, reaching out to staff, probably board members and others, saying that now is the time for this country to have a real conversation on sensible gun control laws in this country. So our students are asking for that conversation. And I hope we can get it done in this generation, but if we don't, they will.
So that was Robert Runcie, the Broward County Public Schools superintendent. Now, there's a common theme throughout all these clips. All of these people either lived or have to deal with the aftermath of this experience, and they are all calling on changes to happen. They are all calling on Congress to do something. And Robert Runcie right here directly calls out sensible gun control legislation. That's what needs to get done. So again, stop listening to people that tell you it's not time to talk about politics. No, it's exactly the right time to talk about it. This is when things can get done. This is when people are motivated to make changes. So yes, it's time to talk about gun control. Now, on the discussion of the Second Amendment, I saw this tweet from somebody I follow, who I just really know as Beth, but she tweeted this out, and I thought it was so well said. So she tweeted, "I don't care about your Second Amendment right. I care about my right to have my son go to school each day and not fear he'll be shot." I can't even imagine being a parent in the US. I'm lucky that I don't have kids. And even in Canada, I would worry about things like this happening. But like this happens so often. 18 shootings this year already in the US. How can you not fear as a parent sending your child to school? It's unbelievable. Again, this is not something other countries deal with. If there's something I can offer you as somebody who doesn't live in the US, somebody looking in from the outside, somebody who appreciates America but doesn't appreciate how politics works in your country, you have to understand how insane your situation is. Nobody else experiences this except people in your country. Other developed countries don't have to deal with this. So, I don't know. My video yesterday, I ended with a similar message that I'm about to say, but I have to keep repeating it. Get involved. do something. Whether it's talking about these issues, whether it's volunteering for a political campaign or another group that you think can help, whether it's giving money, whatever you can do, run for office, whatever you can do, you have to get involved and help change things. Otherwise, this will just keep happening.